Hello, everybody. Welcome to Who is Better, Season 2, Episode 8. Today might be one of the more heated episodes because we each are a strong believer in who we're supporting against the other party. I am representing Jeff Hardy, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And then Berman is going to be representing his brother, Matt Hardy. And Chris is going to be the judge. Now, Matt and Jeff have both been around since the 90s. They've fought with each other, fought against each other, but at the end of the day, we will be discussing these two wrestlers and who is better. So, without a further ado, let's dive right into the first category. All right. So, the first category are the entrances and themes. So we had to restrict ourselves to only picking 2 themes per person. So my themes are No More Words, his most iconic WWE theme, and one of his TNA, now known as Impact themes, Similar Creatures. And as for Berman, he's got the WWE theme song, Live for the Moment, and his current theme in AEW, Ghost Town. Now, no disrespect to Matt's themes, they're great, but if we're just talking straight fire, one of the best entrance themes for a wrestler, you got to give it to No More Words. And it's not just like, the song itself. It's just, him coming out, shaking the fans' hands, doing the poses, all that stuff, all the pyro. It's a good feel. It's a very good feel. And then Similar Creatures is a great song that he himself created. And, that was during one of his face runs as champion in that company. And overall, I think both theme songs are fantastic. So, yeah, and Similar Creatures really is more of a personal song for Jeff Hardy as well, despite, being very fitting for a wrestling theme. So, yeah, that's my personal reasons. I'll let Berman discuss the themes himself, and then we'll let Chris come up with an opinion here. But yeah, my vote overall is going to be going towards Jeff Hardy in this one.
Yeah. So for me, I'm taking Matt Hardy, and my favorite music that Matt Hardy had was Live in the Moment. It was just really great. This is when he was in his face run, and I love his music. It's just so good. His pretty much shoot the finger guns in the air and pretty much showing his extremeness. Pretty much, he's in like going up to the crowd, shaking people's hands, just like Jeff Hardy, exact same, pretty much. Goes to Jeff Hardy, shakes the fans' hands, having pretty much more wilder, having more extreme stuff. Living Moment, great. Sounds more. It's kind of like a country song, but it sounds really good to hear. Ghost Town, the Matt Hardy made this song himself too. Ghost Town is kind of, it sounds like a Jeff the Hardy's music from like WWE a little bit. It has a really good sound to it. Gets people hyped. There, people hear it. People like hearing it. People will start shaking their heads. Start doing delete. That's their Woken. That's his Woken days of Matt Hardy, and it's a great music. Sounds great, but I definitely Live the Moment, one of the best sounds of it. And it sounds way too good. Just you can listen to the earbuds forever. Just never get sick of it. Way too good to listen to. I pick Matt Hardy for this one.
All right, gentlemen, you both make good points. And Daniel, you are correct that Jeff Hardy does have a great theme on both ends, not only for his TNA, but also for WWE and Berman too. They're both great on those parts. But I'm going to be honest here, guys. I'm going to be real honest here. And let's be for real, though. The only theme that Jeff Hardy actually has is currently his OG one, which is No More Words. And I'm sorry, dude. I like Similar Creatures too, but just for the fact that Live for the Moment is so nostalgic and it goes so hard, and his current theme too is great, Ghost Town. I mean, yes, I understand that Similar Creatures is more personal to Jeff Hardy's his story and his life messages, but overall, I'm gonna give it to Berman for this round just due to the fact. But besides the one theme that Jeff Hardy does have, that Matt Hardy still continues bangers after all, and he made it himself. So I guess just for this instance, I'm gonna give it to Matt Hardy for the best theme. Thank you.
All right, all right. I'll respect your opinion.
But you're
Jeff
wrong.
Hardy. Jeff Hardy 0. Matt Hardy 1. Next category. Now, the next category are the finishers. Now, I'm pretty confident about this one. Matt Hardy's finisher is a twist of fate, which, Jeff Hardy has as a signature rather than a finisher. But the thing that I can say is that Jeff Hardy does the Swanton Bomb. So while Jeff Hardy can do Matt Hardy's finisher, Matt Hardy cannot do Jeff Hardy's finisher. And that is a fact. I have never once seen Matt Hardy hit a Swanton Bomb, and it's because he genuinely hasn't. And that is no disrespect to Matt Hardy, but that just goes to show that Jeff Hardy has more, athleticism within him than Matt does. And again, Jeff can do what Matt does. Matt can't do what Jeff does. So I'm going to give it to the Swanton Bomb.
Yeah, for me, I gotta go Twist of Fate. One thing about this is that Matt Hardy he does a leg drop instead of the Swanton Bomb as his type of high flying move. More or less is his leg drop. His extreme leg drop is technically his legit name for it. But Twist of Fate is his best finisher, and it's just simple. It's a nice twist and a cutter. It's kind of like a twisting RKO, I would call it myself too. But it's so nice. It's so fluid when you do it. Nice kick to the gut, get into hot headlock, just twist and then cutter. And it's so great. It never gets, to me, I've never seen one that much that was really botched that much. It was just always boom and then face plant. There's no way you don't see that much of like people hitting their knees on it. It's simple. It sounds really nice. Now, this is the debate for me is that Swanton Bomb, I do like it. The thing is that when I see Jeff Hardy hit it right now, and sometimes he barely misses the guy. It looks like he skims this guy's back and then pins him. Like it really looks like he misses it always. But Twist of Fate never misses. He can do it from the top rope if he wanted to, the most devastating one he does. So I always love the Twist of Fate, and you can do the Twist of Fate as a neck breaker, as a reversed Twist of Fate. So you can do it a different version of a Twist of Fate. So for me, a Twist of Fate is more versatile, and hits always.
Well, I got a good counter argument to that. The Twist of Fate, number one, is way easier to hit than a Swanton Bomb, considering you're not flipping your body. And the second thing I'd like to say is you can talk about right now all you want, but we're talking of all time. All time. If you look back in the 2000s, 2010s, the 90s, you could talk about all you want in the past few months. That's irrelevant compared to the entirety of his career. So, again, with all that being said, Matt Hardy can't even do a Swanton Bomb. Like, he literally can't even do one. So
yeah, because he's not agile. But technically, half the time, it's like 50% of the time, every time I watched any Jeff Hardy match, it looks like that Swanton just skims the guy's back.
You're doing a pretty good job at slandering him, but hey,
yeah, because it's true. His finisher, I like his finisher's not the bad, but so many people do his finisher.
You're saying 50% of the time, but that's just not true at all.
I've seen it most of the time, because sometimes maybe it's the person who gets hit by it. Maybe it's just not his fault. Maybe it's the person who gets hit by it, just sucks at delivering it or getting hit by it. I don't know, but to me, it just feels like this Jeff Hardy is maybe maybe too drunk doing his finishers.
Yeah, you're just talking out of your ass. You're talking out of your ass.
No, I just feel like it because that's what I always see about the Swanton Bomb. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but that's why I feel it. To me, a Twist of Fate is nicer.
Misses 50% of the time. Like you don't even. It doesn't even sound logical.
No, it is.
Like, it just doesn't.
Really, it would have been better to say, "Oh, it's half the time I see him seeing it. I always see him almost missing that Swanton." Maybe is that better? It's pretty much the exact same. I just made it more I used numbers instead of using words. To me, that's my style. So even if that's why I feel like Twist of Fate is nicer. It connects always, and it doesn't look bad when you use it.
Again, anyone can do like a fucking Twist of Fate, dude. It's like literally, you're not even like flipping your body. Like Matt Hardy literally can barely move as it is. So that's probably why he just has a basic twist of fate as his finisher instead of anything actually agile, because he's incapable of doing anything agile like Jeff Hardy.
Because
Anyways,
Matt Hardy is fat. I count that because he is fat. Well, he has some fat to it, so maybe
I
he
wasn't
can't
fat
do a lot of
shaming him.
things.
I was just saying he's incapable of doing anything agile.
No, it's true. There's
Even when
maybe
he
a
was thin,
little
he couldn't
times
do it. Even when he was thin.
he has done leg drops. He has done moonsaults like maybe twice. I have never seen it again, but he has done moonsaults. He has done some really crazy things with a leg drop in general, like freaking doing through tables, doing through top cages and stuff like that. So that was something. But don't get me wrong, I know that something else. But Twisted Fate, I still think is just better. It's simple and it's just bread and butter, and it's just easy and I never see it ever like look bad. I never see a Twisted Fate look bad from Matt Hardy.
All right, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. You can think that the Twist of Fate is a better finisher, but I know that the Swanton Bomb is a better finisher. But so it's all good. Chris, you can take it away.
All right. So just for clarification, I will give Berman the fact that the Twist of Fate can be hit cleaner, which is not, which is always a banger, no matter what. All right. But if I'm being quite honest here, out of the two most moves, it may be true that maybe Jeff Hardy doesn't usually hit the Swanton the cleanest, but overall, for creativity and just how more iconic it is, I mean, yeah, I like the Twist of Fate too. It's great, but compared to the Swanton, I'm sorry, dude, but like every other wrestler pretty much uses it as a staple now for even their own finishers or whatever. So, just for that reason, I'm gonna give it to Jeff Hardy for the finishers.
All right. Jeff Hardy won. Matt Hardy won. Next category. Now, the next category is the overall move set. Now, when I said Matt Hardy couldn't move, maybe that was a bit much, but when it comes down to like being as fast as Jeff Hardy, it basically looks like he can't really move. Like he has the side effect, he has leg drops, he has moonsaults, he has the tornado DDTs, he has cool moves, but Jeff Hardy is just on another ball game with it. Then you got like the whisper in the wind, you got the poetry in motion, you got basically a good majority of Jeff Hardy's moves just feel innovative, and I don't really see a lot of people do a lot of the moves that he does, unless if they flat out took it from him. Because again, Jeff Hardy is kind of a pioneer in that aspect. So if we're talking in ring, I think that Jeff Hardy is way better than Matt Hardy. Like it's like comparing a B tier in ring performer, or maybe even C tier in ring performer, to what is absolutely a certified S tier. And sure, he can break down his body and stuff all he wants now, but you trying to take away what he's done in the past 25, 30 years because of now is ridiculous. So, yeah, overall, I got to give it to Jeff Hardy.
Give you all that stuff, but for me, Matt Hardy has been doing this for a long time, and same as Jeff Hardy, but I feel like Matt Hardy was doing these things more fluent. Every move he does a side effect. He has done the leg drops. He has done pretty much a lot of different types of moves. He has been making new types of finishers, new types of moves, like the parasite, a submission. He has been using some other types of submissions, some chokes, some different versions of moves. So he has been creatively altering himself to change his style. So Matt Hardy, to me, has a lot of newer types of moves that not a lot of people you never see people do, and some people use his type of moves same time. His leg drops leg drop from the top rope. His side effect is the Uranagi, which is just a fit out Uranagi. You see some people doing that. So he has been showing more people how to do more things. So I think his moveset has more creativity, he creates more moves that are you don't see a lot of people doing more often not. No flips. Only he does moonsaults very little, but he does do that. He does simple, easy moveset that people can see and it's like, oh, look, that's new. Something that's new that he just brought out of his repertoire out of nowhere. To me, I think his moveset is growing. So to me, I pick Matt Hardy because how his moveset grows as he wrestles.
Okay, so your point is, even though that his moveset is more simple, he is growing move. He is like gaining moves throughout the years and kind of finding ways to change it up throughout time.
Yeah,
Is that the okay?
that's pretty much how, and I feel like that's a
That's not
good.
that's not a bad point at all. And as a matter of fact, I can definitely see what you're saying to a degree. However, I feel like with Jeff Hardy, his moveset is just so damn good. It's just like you don't need to change up anything that's really that good. And that's how I see Jeff Hardy's. And again, Matt is not a bad in ring performer at all. Matt is a very good in ring performer, but Jeff is just on a whole nother level, man. And he is among the conversations of being one of the best high flyers of all time. And when I hear Matt Hardy, I don't really hear anybody talk about him being the best of all time in any aspect of an in-ring standpoint. So, yeah, that's just my personal opinion.
I think you're true about that, but to me, what I feel about Jeff Hardy is two things. One, actually one thing too. Matt Hardy is not a C tier or lower anything. He's, I feel, like an A tier. Jeff Hardy, yes, an S tier, but never say Matt Hardy is a C tier or lower. He is he's an A tier. He has gave so much, and he has done some great matches. And in AEW, he has done some great matches. So to me, he has still been great. So I don't think saying that he is a C tier when he's more like an A tier is slandering him more. Now, another thing is that one of the moves that, so the poetry in motion is another thing, because more or less he does that more in tag teams and than anything else. And two,
he also does it in singles, but he also
yeah,
does it in
but very,
singles.
I don't say it very often to me. And two is the whisper in the wind, and that's my biggest critique is his whisper in the wind. Great move, but I've seen a good amount of times he hits it, but same thing when I'm going to talk about is a swanton bomb. It is 50-50. You sometimes get hit by it, and it's really cool, and sometimes it just really nicks the guy's head or nicks the guy's shoulder, and it does not hit. Maybe it's the guy's fault, or it's Jeff Hardy's fault. I don't know. But I just feel like that move in particular is very hard to hit for someone that really goes back and forth. And all these moves, that's great, but just one move that he flips around, but he does not barely hits the guy is something that it throws me off on some moves that he has. So to me, Matt Hardy has these moves that not a lot of people. He doesn't botch. He invents new ways to hit him, and to me, that's why I feel like Matt Hardy does this moveset better.
Now, this is what I'll say with Jeff Hardy and the whisper in the wind. Now, here's the thing. If he does miss with that thing, it is definitely on the person because he hits the same exact spot every single time. Like, for example, the biggest example people like to use against that whisper in the wind would be the Jinder Mahal thing. But look exactly where the hell Jinder Mahal was standing. Like, how was he even going to possibly hit that from the back of his head? So obviously, yeah, I'm defending Jeff Hardy in that aspect too, just like the Swanton Bomb. And again, I'd say 95% of the time he's had instances with these certain moves, it has been only within the past year or two. So, yeah, that's all I can really say. So, Chris, take it away.
Both of these arguments have been pretty much clean. I will give the benefit of the doubt that Jeff Hardy is S tier, and I'm not going to knock him down any points just because of the current situation and he hasn't been 100%. But again, that's like more of outside problems than anything, so I'm not going to include that in this argument. And as for Matt Hardy, it may not be as agile as Jeff Hardy that Daniel likes to face him wrestlers. Not me though, because I accept all body types. Not like Daniel.
Hey, I never said he's fat. I never said he's fat. He's actually, I don't even think he's that fat.
Now he's lying. He's lying to you. No, but in all seriousness, you guys make both good points. But for the instance, for the overall move set, I'm gonna have to give it to Matt Hardy just through the fact that most of the time when I'm watching him, it's not more of a 50-50 thing, and still to this day he can still wrestle. So that's more on Jeff Hardy than anything. Like I
So
know Jeff. I
you're
know.
using
Like
today
wait,
instead
wait,
of
wait,
like
wait.
all
No, no, no,
time.
no, 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 no. Not today. But I know he was great back then. But as of continuing his wrestling style right now, out of the two wrestlers, I mean, it's no competition at this point. Matt Hardy can still keep it up as he was good back then, and he wasn't a C tier. Daniel, he's an A tier. So just for the overall reasons, I feel like Matt Hardy is a little better when it comes to his overall moveset because at this point, man, the guy's been wrestling as the same amount of time as Jeff Hardy. So I'm gonna give it to Matt Hardy just for the continuous good work. And you better get
All
healthy,
right.
Jeff.
Well, what?
I was like, you better get healthy, Jeff. You better.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though I disagree, I'm going to be a good sport. Jeff Hardy 1, Matt Hardy 2. Next category. Now, the next category are the mic skills. Now, this is what I'll say about Matt Hardy. He's had the broken character. He's had the heel version of himself and face versions of himself throughout time. Just in general. The Big Money Matt as well as another character. Extreme Matt with his brother Jeff is another character. So I will give him credit in that aspect. He's definitely creative in terms of coming up with all these random personalities and stuff. But one of the criticisms I do have with him is that half of the promos he has hits, and then the other half bores me. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like sometimes Matt Hardy just can't quite connect with the story sometimes. And sure, Jeff may not be the most vocal person on the microphone, but every time he does speak on the microphone, he's straight to the point. It's short and simple. And again, don't break what's already pretty good. How I feel with the moveset. So yeah, I feel like overall, Jeff Hardy maybe doesn't have as many characters as Matt, but again, I just think he has a better way of showcasing himself on a microphone without having to speak as much. So I'm going to be giving that point to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, for me, you've been using the exact same thing I use for every moveset and finisher, that it's 50-50. To me, Matt Hardy is always, I would say 95%. Like his characters, the the extreme, the big Matt Hardy, the heel Matt Hardy, which he had never had one, the face Matt Hardy in WWE, and he had a secondary one, which is not woken, it was broken instead. So he had six in general, and every time he used these type of versions of himself, which is kind of like I say multiple personalities. He gives 100% on each character and makes sure that he will either make a fool of himself, or he will talk his ass off and be a mean asshole to someone, or he will talk really straight garbage on someone, just like maybe the Edge and Matt Hardy feud with this whole thing with the Alita stuff. That was a big moment for him that he was pissed off, and he pretty much straight garbage on Edge, and Edge came right back, kept on countering, and it kept on doing this whole time. Same thing happened in Impact Wrestling or TNA. It was a big thing with Big Matt Hardy, Big Money, Matt Hardy, and EC3. That was one of the biggest ones for himself. With he just kept on talking, slandering EC3, which EC3 is probably one of the best at doing these mics. He is he keeps on, and he dedicates himself with his character no matter what makes him fool out of himself, makes a joke out of himself. He pretty much gives his heart and soul into these types of characters and talks his shit and emotionally, or just being an asshole to anyone. To me, Matt Hardy has the best of my skills for me.
All right. Well, Chris, take it away, man.
All right. As of right now, for the overall moves, I mean the mic skills aspect of the stuff, I'm gonna say they are both equal because I'm not gonna discredit both of them. They're not like the greatest on the mic skills, but they keep it short and simple. And that's not to discredit both of them. Wouldn't you guys agree?
So wait. So what?
Like it's just simple. Like yeah, they use the characteristics, but overall, both guys pretty much, just go straight to the point. It's not over dramatic,
So
unless of course they're playing a character or whatever.
so it's a tie.
Not a tie, but I just wanted to bring it out just so we don't get more salty. No more ties. You said
Okay,
we
because
can't do this
I
shit.
was about to say if it's a tie, that's gonna make me more salty than anything.
No.
I'd rather lose than take a tie. That's me personally.
Okay, back. Give it a Matt Hardy.
No, no,
No.
Matt Hardy wins it.
no,
No,
no.
I'm just
All
kidding.
right,
I'm just kidding.
Chris. So what's your point? Seriously.
The point is they're both great, but overall, I'm not a big fan of Matt Hardy's mic skills just for the fact that it's a little too corny for me. And I know that's coming from a lot, and that's more of his character's aspects. But Jeff Hardy's a bit cooler when it comes to the mic skills, so I'm gonna give it to Jeff. Thank you.
You know, I actually didn't really think about Matt being corny on the mic, but you kind of do have a point.
Well, that's his characters. He plays a character, and he's corny with character. He doesn't matter. He just makes a fool of himself if he needs to
Fair
get
enough.
the character over with.
Well, they're both 2-2 now. So
Oh,
next category. Category 5. Who's the better face? Now, don't get me wrong, Matt Hardy is a face that can be good. And there have definitely been feuds where, he has been a very good face. One of them being with Edge. Both these guys having great face feuds with Edge, which we'll be discussing later, by the way. But over time and stuff, when I think about who's had more, iconic moments as a face and as a good guy and all this stuff, I'm gonna give it to Jeff Hardy. Whether it's some of his clashes with Randy Orton or his feuds with guys like Kurt Angle, Austin Aries. Honestly, there's just a lot of there's more examples I could even come up with. But point being is that I feel like Jeff is not only a great face, but I'd go as far as to say he's probably one of the greatest faces of this, in the past 10, 20, 30 years even. Jeff Hardy is an absolute fantastic face. And it's just this simple, man. When he has a lot of different attires, kind of like Rey Mysterio does, but that's not really one of the reasons people really like him. People like him because he's different. He's different overall. And sure, maybe he has his problems in real life with drugs and with a lot of things in general. But a lot of people are always going to root for the guy, no matter a lot of the mistakes that he does. Because at the end of the day, he's Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy simply inspires people to be themselves. And, whether Jeff can, whether he's sober or not, the point is that you see everyone around him in his life genuinely loves him. And he is just a great aspect for wrestling, for tons of different things. So without a shadow of a doubt, Jeff Hardy is, in my opinion, one of the best faces out there. And he definitely gets the point for being the better face in my book.
Yeah, for me, I don't tell you. I think Jeff Hardy is definitely a great face, but Matt Hardy has a great face because he played two types of faces for me. He has played the anti-hero, that was him as the wokenness, everyone loved his wokenness. No one really hated his thing. Everyone just keeps on saying delete, delete, delete. That's his type of thing. Everyone loves him like that. And then he was as a face, as kind of, I'm going to call it like the country Matt Hardy, where he was just wearing some country pants, and like a t-shirt, and he was just walking out, and he was with the Edge, and he was with Edge, a big rivalry when he was a face, or when he was in AEW, when he was kind of aligned with the Elite, when he was aligned with the Elite, and when he was kind of helping him out, having fun with them a little bit, having fun with other people, and pretty much having a fun time. Oh yeah, I'm saying fun a lot, but hey, he cares. He cares about people, and he pretty much what he does was he saves people who's in danger, and gets pretty much himself in danger, and tries to help whoever's in danger in there. Kind of like the hero, the anti-hero, as like the wokenness too. He helps people, and he's this kind of weird, creepy, evil side of himself, but he still tries to help people in problems. So I think, to me, as a face, he helps people, and probably people love him as this chance when he was keep on saying delete, or just keep on say Matt, like just keep on yelling. You can see so many matches where people just start yelling Matt, or delete, showing how much people inspired by Matt Hardy or happy seeing Matt Hardy give everything into his characters and giving everything to defeat a bad person. It shows how he is a hero to many people. That's why I feel like he's a great face.
All right, so we both bring up some decent enough points. So yeah, Chris, I'll let you decide who's the better face here.
Overall, both of these guys are great faces. I'm not going to discredit either one of these gentlemen because it's not fair to do that to him. But this is a debate at the end of the day, and I'm going to keep it simple and short. I'm going to give it to Matt Hardy.
All right. Well, Matt Hardy 3, Jeff Hardy 2. Difficulties on our end here. So yeah, me and Berman had our debate about who is the better heel. Now it's up to Chris. Who do you think it is, Jeff or Matt?
It's going to Jeff for the better heel. Let's be honest here, folks. I've seen the shit he did in AEW. It's not funny. It's just as cringe as Sami Zayn's character. So for that reason alone, heel, go to Jeff Hardy. Now for the real question for the next one.
Well, shit. Okay, I didn't expect that. It's 3-3, Jeff and Matt. Now the finals category is who has the best match. My best match is Jeff Hardy versus Edge from Extreme Rules 2009 in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight title. And then Berman's match is a steel cage match from Unforgiven 2005, Edge versus Matt Hardy. And yeah, Berman, would you like to explain why you chose this match first before I explain mine?
Yeah. So this match was probably the best showing with Matt Hardy, probably the best match of his life, I feel. And it was a really personal rivalry that happened with him and Lita, and like pretty much Lita betraying him and joining Edge for this whole. And so this really personal rivalry, great intense matches. So it built to this match so perfectly, and just the match was so great. All these great high flying, the interference with Lita, then twist of fate on Lita, which is a freaking love the moment, and just really it's funny to see that happening. Then Omega leg drop from like the top of the steel cage, just landing on Edge, is just perfect, and all these really good interferences. To be honest, I always don't like steel cage matches because sometimes they get iffy if there's someone on the other side of the corner, because usually I don't feel it would be fun. This match was probably one of my favorite steel cage matches, and it's just so good of the rivalry, the storytelling, and it was just a super great grudge match between these three. That's why I picked this one myself. That Matt Hardy has the best match.
All right, so that's an interesting choice. It is a very personal choice with the real life situation of Lita cheating on Matt Hardy for Edge. But with that being said, the match I picked is very special as well. Now, I feel like Jeff Hardy has a lot of classics, but throughout the years, Edge has been one of his greatest rivals, whether it was in the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, or in this era. So Jeff Hardy was wrestling for very long, won a bunch of titles, but he never won the big title, the world title, or the WWE title. So it was 2008. Triple H, Edge, and Jeff had a triple threat, and Jeff won, pinning Triple H. So basically, he won the WWE Championship, but basically Edge targeted Jeff, immediately taking that title, and a lot of real life events were happening as well with Jeff, unfortunately, like his house getting caught on fire and like his dog dying within that fire, some crazy stuff like that, basically. And Jeff getting hurt during his entrance, someone hijacking the pyro. Basically, a lot of instances happened before that match, and Matt betrayed him, of course. But point being, though, is Edge took the very thing Jeff chased years and years for within a quick instance of only one match. So Jeff was going through a lot with his brother, but Edge was still in the back of his head because he knew that he had to get that belt back. So came here Extreme Rules 2009. Jeff had this giant chip on his shoulder, needing to prove himself here, and again, it's against his longtime rival, arguably his biggest rival of all time, and yeah, they took each other to the limit here. And there's a lot of great spots. My favorite spot in the match, however, being when Edge tries to go for the spear, the same spear he went for at WrestleMania 17, but Jeff knowing what's about to happen this time and reversing it into a twist of fate or cutter. And it's just a great moment. And I feel like that moment kind of inspired, Sammy Guevara's cutter moment to Cody Rhodes earlier this year, or a few other moments in general. It's just an amazing match, and you see Jeff get his redemption. And even though he won the world title, at Armageddon 2008, and that was a fantastic moment, being his first world title win. This world title win hits pretty much just as hard because of the circumstances and everything behind it, and just how fantastic this match was. So, yeah, again, there was a lot of choices I could have picked, but this was the decision I made. So, yeah, that's my best match. Berman said his best match. Now, Chris, give your opinion on this one, and who is the better wrestler?
Okay, first things first. Both of these matches are great. There was that sick bump from Edge versus Jeff Hardy in that Extreme ladder match. And yes, it was something that Matt Hardy couldn't do around this time, and it was great storytelling. But as for Edge versus Matt Hardy, which is funny enough because both of you guys picked Edge too, so he's the GOAT. But anywho, back to the steel cage match. The whole concept was extremely fun. There wasn't really a dull moment, and I was actually surprised to see that Lita got involved. And just seeing Matt Hardy hit like the twist of fate on her was fucking hilarious. And both of these matches are great. Okay, they're classics, but it's not the match that I have a problem with one of these categories. It's the ending. And you know where I'm going this, right, Daniel? You know,
Now I know I do.
do you
I know where this is going.
do you know what fucking ruined? Oh, by the way, Berman, your match is better. Do you know the fucking moment that made that whole match completely pointless in 5 seconds? When I saw
Punk cashed it on him.
he cashed on him, beat him less than 5 seconds, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What was the point of doing all of that? Just
Here,
like take
you
the
want to know what
belt.
the point was? You want to know what the
What was
point
the
was?
point
I
of
can be
that?
fine. I can be fine with you giving Berman the point, but I'm going to explain to you what the point of that was. So, Punk won the world title a year prior to that in 2008 as, an underdog face and stuff. And that was like his first time winning the world title. But nobody really took him seriously. And Punk lost his world title by injury, right? When Orton Punk kicked him in the head. So his redemption story was basically happening at the same time as Jeff Hardy's. Punk won the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 25. And by coincidence, Jeff Hardy was the world champion. But when Punk thought, okay, this is my big redemption moment, great, it was out of nowhere. Everyone expected the cash-in to be on the villain, but instead the cash-in was on a hero like Jeff Hardy. And because of the crowd seeing this happen, they couldn't get behind Punk anymore. And the whole feud basically led to Punk turning heel, targeting Jeff for basically being a drug addict. And yeah, so basically it was all to really set up Punk becoming a giant villain and a giant feud between those two.
I still thought it was completely dumb and ruined the moment. And if I see that shit on Wednesday, I swear to God, Daniel, I swear to God, if we get another moment like that, AEW is actually retarded.
Like what?
I don't know, if we just see him play dirty against John Moxley, I know, whatever. Point is,
So your grudge is
point
against CM Punk. It's not against Money in the Bank. It's against CM Punk.
overall, to get back in the topic at hand, I just thought the steel cage match was a lot more better, and it got straight to the point, and there was more memorable moments than as to the sick bunk with Edge and Jeff Hardy. Like,
Okay.
it was great. It was just
I'll take that
preferably
reason. I'll take that reason.
there was more memorable things in the Matt Hardy match. Both are equal. I want to get back in track, so for this instance, I'm picking Matt Hardy. Berber, you win.
Okay. All right. Matt Hardy is a better wrestler than Jeff Hardy. Well, 4-3. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Daniel.
I've been Berman.
Chris.
And we'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.